Welcome to the fourth quarter of the Bobby Dupre Show, and we need a sponsor right off the bat.
Yes, we can do it. Dixie Storage, all your storage needs throughout St. Landry Parish. They can help you with your personal or commercial. You need a big unit, a little unit, RV, or just a handful of things, maybe some stuff for your kids for college. Don't forget the sister company, A+ Glass, with locations in Lafayette and here in Opelousas. They can do all your glass work. That's from your car and do windshields to your 18-wheeler windshields to your house to your business as well. Dixie Storage and A+ Glass.
Okay, one more.
One more. Let's go. LHC Group, all your home health care needs. LHC Group can help you throughout the entire United States, all about helping people. They can get you nurses, they can get you the equipment, the beds, the oxygen stuff. They can get you the button you can press for help. They got hospice care, palliative care, all available to you. Don't forget about them right now with the cancer. They're doing a lot of work to help with cancer awareness and the Red Tie event. If you've seen the Red Tie events, remember that LHC is sponsoring that right now.
And I had something cut out. We'll get it next. I'll give it to you for next week's program. A few more
photos?
Yes, we went over to a little cafe on Magazine. By the way, Magazine Street years ago was kind of almost dangerous. Today, it's one of the hot streets of all of New Orleans, several miles of small businesses, basically small businesses. And we were walking and decided we'd go into the Salou restaurant, small plates and wine bar is what it's called, and it's got a front sidewalk seating and patio, and just a very enticing place to go in. Good music was in the background, kind of quiet, and we got to talking. Vicki and I started talking to this young man, and what's your name? He said, I'm a Daigle. Really? He says, I'm Derek Daigle. I said, what part of South Louisiana are you from? He said, well, my grandparents were from Church Point, Louisiana. I said, oh.
That's Megan's cousin.
That would be Meg. That's right. That's what I said. I said, my number 3 wife was a Daigle, and they were kin, and her mama and daddy were Daigles, so they were kin to a lot of Daigles. He said, well, he says, my dad and them and the mama was a Savoie, so that's another good name of Church Point area in St. Landry and Acadia Parish. And he says my grandpa was who I always heard the most about, Mr. Roosevelt Daigle. I said, oh, a well-known person back in those when he was alive in Acadia Parish, and most particularly Church Point. And anyhow, real good food and a nice young man, and just keep making new friends. And Commander's Palace, we had reservations there on Sunday night.
The famous Blue and White.
Blue and White is very old. It's
owned by the Brennan family.
Yep, and they of course moved away from that particular area and got into the French Quarters and probably own at least a half a dozen restaurants. I asked our waiter, Chad, I said, Chad, you ever hear of Paul Prudhomme? He said, yeah. I said, you ever heard that he worked here? He says, yeah, he sure did. I said, in fact, I'm going to tell you a little story about him. I said, his first hotel that he worked at, the first restaurant he worked at in New Orleans, after learning the trade of becoming a chef, was Maison Dupuis Hotel. He said, I heard that, Mr. Dupre, I did hear that. And I said, yeah, and he was one of y'all's head chefs.
He was the head chef, correct.
And he taught a lot of the chefs. And when we had the
boxing reunion.
Well, not the boxing reunion. When we had the events here in Opelousas that he headed up, and he got chefs from all over the world to come in.
That was a spice festival type thing that they'd had at that time.
At that time, and he got, and a lot of the chefs that came to assist him in this was chefs that he had taught back at Commander's Palace.
Correct. And there's a picture of you and Miss Vicky going into Superdome?
Yeah, we're trying to get the Mercedes-Benz Superdome sign in the background. We took that of ourselves.
Self-portrait.
Self-portrait, how about that? And while we were walking through the thousands of people in, what they call it, Champion Square, ran across a good friend and a person that Vicky works with quite often, Steve DuPont from the
From DuPont?
From, well,
Bordelonville?
Bordelonville area in Vols Parish, let's put it that way. And we visited with them. And we're up in the suite here, and this is Mr. Ron Foreman. And I said, Ron, I have to have your picture and pick at your brother Harold. Harold Foreman, of course, is the Harold Foreman that owns Copper Crown, and then now the Equine Sales Company here on Gilboa Road. Correct. Exit. And Ron, of course, is one of the commissioners along with our partner, J.E. Brignac.
Over at the Superdome
Over
Commission.
at the Superdome Commission. And here is a young man, Greg Patterson, who's married to Mike Fakuri's daughter. Mike Fakuri and his wife, Satig from Eunice, Louisiana. Can't think of your name, darling. But Greg is married to maybe the youngest of the daughters. Right. And he owns some convenience stores and Subway stores, restaurants, cafes. And here is J.E. Brignac, my partner here. And the next picture, I think, is his grandson, Brennan, and J.E. and myself. And we used to see Brennan when we'd tailgate a lot at the football games.
Definitely.
And he is now working with Whitney in their investment banking department. Excellent. In New Orleans.
Excellent.
And his little girlfriend is doing studies. She's passed the first portion. She's to become an actuary. I don't know of anybody that ever went to college to study actuary. It's a it's a good position to be studying and qualified for.
We use H. Hewell Briscoe as our company we use to do actuary
with Gulf States Life.
That's correct.
That's right. We have an actuary that out of
we do a lot of number
Kansas?
crunching. Chicago.
Okay.
We've got this photo right here too. This is Terry Guidry with the Woodman of the World Lodge 47 giving a flag to Opelousas Catholic School to be used for their Veterans Day ceremony on November the 11th, and of course presenting it to Miss Rose Lalonde, assistant principal over at Opelousas Catholic. Wanted to show that photo as well. And that's all my photos. I got to get some more sponsors in. Let's go with the Quarters Casino. Try your luck. Try the gaming over at Quarters Casino. Also got the whole travel plaza where you get all your good fuel, Chevron fuel, diesel, regular gasoline as well, unleaded from super duper to just the regular kind. And you can go inside and get your crispy crunchy chicken. You can get your Subway sandwiches. They got a huge, one of the biggest convenience stores around. Nice, clean, well lit. More than one lady checking you out, so you
nice,
can get
clean
in and get out fast.
restrooms.
And they got a good restaurant there as well, El Pico de Gallo, with good margaritas, 2 for $1 with your meal. And one more sponsor, Steamboat Warehouse. Man, I'm hungry today. Get mama away from the smell of her own cooking.
Oh, yeah, tonight's a special night,
That's
too.
right, it's my wedding anniversary. Happy anniversary, darling. And Steamboat Warehouse, where we had our first meal as a married couple down there with, in those days, chef owner Jason Hughey, I think, was just a gopher in the kitchen in those days. He just cranking up. Now he's the chef and the owner there. Go by and try all the great cuisine, from the steaks to the seafood. It's all excellent at the Steamboat Warehouse. You'll enjoy the ambiance, sitting right there and having an adult libation, a great wine selection as well. That's all my sponsors. I got them all.
Okay, another person who died that was well known in Acadiana was Mr. Adrian Vega, and owned the Acadiana Dodge dealership for years and years. He was only 63 years young.
He worked his way all the way up as just an employee until he ended up buying the dealership.
Buying the dealership, very
under the big American flag,
the huge American flag. Yeah. Miss Marjorie Jackson Menard, and something made me I didn't recognize the name. Age 81, right here in Opelousas, actually buried today, Tuesday, November the 6th. The day we are filming this is probably 6 o'clock right now.
It's probably 6:30 right now.
It's 6:30 right now. And reading who were some of the survivors was Cindy Bernard Oye, and of course her husband is Glenn Oye, the electrician, and of course Glenn serves on the 3 Mile Lake Board of Directors. Sorry, and my sympathies are offered to you all. And I guess almost a kinfolks here is Miss Ollie Mae Fontenot Pete, age 85, from Plaisance, Louisiana, and Mitch Pete, the contractor, building contractor, is one of her deceased survivors. My sympathies to the family. And we also said you recognize somebody in here.
Correct. That's Sidney Landry.
Sidney Landry, age 64, very young man.
His brother is Ernest Landry from the Port Barre area. That's Joe Fred's brother-in-law.
That's right.
Of course, we call Ernest Goyo.
Goyo. And Judy and Yvonne are sisters. So that makes them brother-in-laws, Joe and Goyo. How about that? And a person, we didn't really know Mr. Fred too well, but we knew him. But his son, Benny Lucas, worked for us. Mr. Fred Lucas, age way up there.
If you ever did business with Liberty Printing, you may have met Big Ben.
You would have met Big Ben. And my sympathies to the family on their recent death. And another person was Michael Guidry Hebert. And the Guidry was, his mama was Pat Guidry Hebert. And his daddy, of course, was Mr. Bill Hebert.
The Bill system.
The Bill system. When he retired from Montbell, he opened his own system, Bill system, he called it, and took care of our telephones until he retired. We were his last, we wouldn't let him retire. And then finally one day he said, here's going to be the new man that's going to take care of the Fontenot's father and the son.
Mr. Burnell from the Grand Prairie area, and then of course Kent, now his son, is the guy who takes care of it all.
That's right. So anyhow, Mike, they're better known in the article here as T. Mike, local AIC, became a teacher and taught in public schools, taught at AIC, and our sympathies on his recent death. And one more, Mr. Wallace Stelly. Mr. Wallace Stelly built maybe the Cafe for Daddy when he opened the school cafe. He was a building contractor, and a good one, I might add at that. He was age 91. That would be about right. You see, he was
been a young man in those days.
He was a young man back in those days, and he was a native of Grand Coteau, but I always knew him as from Opelousas, right here. Our deepest sympathies.
Very good.
And
what else you want to talk about? You want to talk about LSU game?
Well, let's talk about that. What about my Saints game?
I like your Saints jersey.
Yeah, I attended the game, and we showed
the Saints won.
The Saints won. It was kind of I don't know, it wasn't a pretty game.
Both
it was
teams
kind of sloppy, but we won, and that's what counts. And hopefully they can, get back into winning. They've got their regular, not the regular coach. The regular coach, that's another story that we don't have enough time to talk about today. And we talk about Sean Payton, and I know all of y'all that listen to sports found out that he could be what they call him, a
free agent.
Free agent next year.
How about the Cajuns? ULL breaking their losing streak
and
big on ULM.
Time. I mean, they put a whipping on them.
I think that they should be the only University of Louisiana for the next year. They should fight over the name each year. Only one can be University of Louisiana for the year. The other one's got to go back to the old name.
But it must have been a good game, and you know who the coach Hudspeth, Coach Hud thanked? He thanked all the people who drove from Lafayette to Monroe, even after they had they really looked sloppy a couple of weeks before that, but they came through like Trojans.
This is it. We're down to the end.
We're down to the end, and we try to close each program with a thought, and also we ask you to please consider attending the church of your choice. And since Veterans Day is being recognized throughout the United States, we use this particular Veterans closing was a message by Miss Melba Thibodeau at the Pentecostal Church on Judson Walsh last year. We honor you, we thank you, and we pray for you. Veterans, we love you. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
You're watching KDCG TV, uniquely Acadiana.